Hosted by the dynamic duo Iffat Chaudry and Noelle Fluester, we're bringing you real conversations with real people, tackling the topics that matter most, from tech trends and challenges to the stories shaping our AV community. Powered by Wildwood Plus, this is not your typical studio sit-down. This is AV, unfiltered, unexpected, and unapologetically wild.
Hi everybody and welcome to InfoComm 2025. We are live at the Midwich stand and in their amazing AV on Air studio, and so huge thanks to the Midwich group for giving us this space. And I'm joined today by Noelle Fluester.
Thanks, Iffat. Yeah, I'm really excited. This is first podcast for us on our new series.
It is our first. Yep, there'll be a lot more coming from us. So.
We're starting with a bang, though. We've got a really good guest today.
Exactly.
Let's big it out. Do you want to do the introduction?
No, I'm going to ask Noelle to introduce herself, of course. But yeah, there's a lot more coming from us, and I don't think we could have started in a better way, really. Yeah. Noelle led the breakfast, Women's Council breakfast this morning with an amazing keynote. And we are so privileged to have her spend some time with us. So, Noelle, welcome.
Yay, thank you. It's super exciting.
I'm going to get you to introduce yourself because you are phenomenal, by the way. Yeah. and there is a link to that. We'll share it as the conversation carries on. But yeah, you absolutely are phenomenal.
Yes, that's too funny. Yes, I have a synthetic version of myself that was doing some introductions earlier today. But yeah, my name, of course, Noelle, and I got a chance to sit in front of some amazing women. The session was really about the art of the possible with artificial intelligence. And I own a company called the AI Leadership Institute, and I'm really passionate about just helping people realize that this isn't a time to really be worried about AI, though there is a reason for cautious optimism. But it is a time to be using it. It is a time to be putting your fingers on a keyboard, to become a doer instead of a talker. It is a critical time because within the next 3 to 5 years, you won't be able to look one way or another without it.
And that's the key, isn't it? I think somebody today asked during the breakfast, how do we overcome the fear of it? And I remember, and actually it took me back to the classroom because I am that age that I was in secondary school when we first got computers. And I remember the fear that our teachers had around even being able to teach us how to use computers. Yep. And there's still, I think there's a generational thing of, I don't want to touch this because I might break it. Obviously devices are a lot easier now to access, but how do we overcome that fear?
Yeah, the one thing that I've learned, and granted my journey started at Amazon Alexa about 12 years ago. I got a chance to be an early member of that team. And what I learned in those first few months was the sheer value in just building, just starting to use the technology. Now, granted, I am a tinkerer by heart. Like if there's a button, I would actually press it just because I'm like, it's there and it's red. We should press it. But what I found out is that as I started making Alexa available to people, they were worried about talking to it. They were worried about like, what do I say? How do I say it? Who is this going to replace? Is it going to replace podcasters? It turns out that all of our fears of AI actually just distract us from the really important things that we can do with it. So from Amazon Alexa, I ended up at Microsoft and helping launch some of Microsoft's biggest technology, today known as Azure AI. It's actually a productized version of ChatGPT. But the most important skill I learned is that these AI systems, they don't really work well unless you tell them what to do.
Absolutely.
And then they also don't work well unless you continually tell them what to do. Yeah. So I think there's a bit of misunderstanding that somehow AI is happening to me, that it's some big AI in the sky that's, Skynet, when actually, that AI it's going to be an extension of you. It's going to be a relationship that you have. And unless you start talking to it right away, it's like public speaking. You're going to be awful at it until you get awesome at it. Yeah. But you can't get to awesome unless you go through awful. So just start being awful with AI. so that you can get better.
It's like a muscle, isn't it? You go to the gym and you
100%.
need to, work out that muscle, exercise it, and then you get better. You lift more weights, you can run further or whatever. It's the same with a lot of technology and, like social media, making videos, working with AI. You've just got to start. Just push that button. The first one will be rubbish, the second one will be rubbish, but then as you progress and as you learn, you'll then start to work out how to do the prompting, how to do the engineering, and then to get better results back from it, I guess.
Yes, exactly. Like doing first, being willing to just ask a question. I think the good news about this technology, and ChatGPT, for example, has 300 million weekly users. So even my mother is using these types of services, which is crazy because she texts me and she's like, look at this cool thing. And I'm like, I helped build that cool thing. It's fine though, it's fine.
That was me.
I was like, that's me. Like, anyway, she didn't see it that way, but like it's so ubiquitous.
Yes.
And so that's the good news, is that it really is very easy. There is no technology barrier. You don't have to become an engineer or an architect or developer to use it. But the danger in that is that it also is going to do exactly what you ask of it.
Of course.
And try to please you. I think we were talking about this in the breakfast earlier. Like, its whole job is to get you to say, like, you ask it a question, it's going to generate a response, and its hope is that you just say, well, that's not terrible. I kind of like it. What a nice answer. It's not going to be truthful. It's not going to represent humanity. It's not going to care about fairness or trust. It's just going to generate an answer that makes you go, that's not half bad. And that, I think, is a little bit dangerous, because that not half bad answer is going to become someone else's, like, well, that must be the answer.
And that's the problem with the internet anyway, right?
Yes, exactly.
Like, whatever, if someone's seen something or read something, they believe it. And that's, there's got to be some kind of filter.
Yes.
On that. I mean, there's a lot of AI chat in our industry.
Yes.
And
there's so many companies, again, it's a sales world. Everyone wants to sell something, and there's a bandwagon, which is AI. Everyone wants to jump on it, and all they've done is they've taken their product and put those two letters after it.
Yeah.
And how do you differentiate between real intelligence and just clever coding? Because again, there's some clever stuff that these cameras do that can track us and film and all that kind of stuff. But actually making decisions, how do we learn and work out the wheat from the chaff? What is real AI and what's just clever coding?
I think probably the most important thing is tied to the number one reason why AI projects typically fail. So I've been working in the biggest brands, but I've also been helping kind of medium-sized companies leverage this technology. And the number one reason why production AI fails is because they lack a very specific measurement for success.
Yes.
Like, what is this model supposed to help me with? How is it going to do that? And when do I know that it's working?
Yep.
Most people never think that far.
No.
They're actually, that's why, like, you could see, like, I don't know if you could see it, but there's like this little baby tiger. I'll grab, we'll grab him.
We'll grab it. Here it is.
Right? Like, he's so cute.
And I have my own version.
Right?
I feel left out. I don't have it, and I didn't
You
go
have
to
to
the
go to the
breakfast.
breakfast.
That's what
So
happens.
for me and all the other viewers and listeners,
Show
can
up
you
the
bring us
break-
into the kind of club? Because I feel left out
That's
here.
right.
Having a
We're gonna
tiger.
find out.
So now you know, come to the breakfasts.
Yeah.
They're really important. But this concept of a baby tiger basically represents the first time you start using an AI system.
Okay.
Like, it's super cute and fluffy, and it's like adorable. It's novel. Everyone is excited about it. But what you'll notice is nobody's really asking the hard questions. Like, look at its paws. Like, how big is it going to grow up to be? What is it going to eat? It's got razor sharp teeth at
gonna eat
birth. Right? Yeah. Like, what is it going to do? Where is it going to live? How long is it going to live? What happens when you don't want it anymore? Where are you going to put it? So these questions, no one's asking these questions in the early, when you first get a model, you're just like, it's so cute and I love it and I can't wait to use it. So all these companies, they're selling baby tigers. None of these companies are like, by the way, that tiger, I said it in the breakfast this morning, like, baby tigers become big tigers and big tigers kill people.
Yeah, I was gonna,
So,
that's the fear of AI, I
that's
guess. Yeah.
but the difference between a baby tiger, a model growing up and hurting someone, and one that doesn't is a human input. We call it human in the loop. Like, having humans that say, here's what good looks like, here's what a well-behaved tiger looks like, and then having humans that are watching it as it goes. Like, it's not like you're gonna just, I have 6 kids, so I always refer to, like, it's not like I'm gonna tell my kids at the age of 5, give them the rules of life, and then push them out into the world and be like, hope it works out, right? Like, I mean, many of us stay connected to our kids indefinitely, and actually when they leave, we wish they wouldn't. Like, so I think this is part of a misunderstanding that's happening in AI, that you are going to get this cute tiger, it's going to do cute things, and that's the extent, when actually it's only the beginning, and your responsibility is pretty intense once that adoption occurs.
Okay, I need to adopt a tiger.
Yeah,
I guess.
As long as you know what's going to happen to it.
That's
yeah,
right.
absolutely. I think a lot of the things with AI is people are kind of scratching the surface of it and really not using it to its full potential. They're just being lazy. Write this document for
Yes.
me. Transcribe this for me. Do this. It's a do engine.
Yes.
Rather than actually using it to try and get that intelligence and try and understand how it can help them in their life, rather than just go, okay, take that boring, mundane task away from me and make it simple for me.
Yeah.
So that's something I think we all need to look at, and again, I guess that comes from the
Yeah, and I think it does start there, right? Like 2 years ago, we were using a model that was brand new. It did start with, hey, the biggest, coolest thing you can do is just transcribe your meeting notes and not have to do that.
Yeah.
I think you're right, though. The intuition that you have is the future is not that. And it's actually a frustration I had with Alexa in the early days. We built a voice-based user interface.
It was a do engine. Alexa, do this. Alexa,
Yes,
do that.
that
Everyone's
was-
Alexa's now just gone crazy, by the way, saying
Yeah,
Alexa.
exactly. Oopsie.
Set alarm for
Change it to
7 a.m.
computer. Yes. But that is the beginning, and that was baby tiger mode for Alexa, is that
Right.
we would ask it to do very specific things.
Yeah.
But we actually could ask it to do anything. We could have said, go into Salesforce and tell me what my sales are this month. Go in and tell me who the best worker is this month. Tell me about, go do research for me. But everyone got stuck in just ask it for the weather, ask it to play music. These very small use cases.
Tell me a joke.
Yeah,
Tell me a
yeah,
joke.
yeah,
My
yeah,
favorite.
by
Give me a
far.
dog fact, right? Like, so I think the burden is actually on us as users
Yep.
to be more creative in our approach to using this technology, because it can now do anything. Anything that has code can now be invoked with words that we type in. So now the burden is on us to say, okay, if I could ask a bunch of systems to talk to each other with just my words, what would be the perfect way that those systems would communicate? So many of us are stuck in kind of how we grew up in the last 20 years,
Yeah.
all the band-aids we put on old tech to make it work. And we actually could completely start over and build it brand new faster than it would take for us to fix what's already broken.
And to your point about, knowing where the tiger's going, I think, and this is an observation, I'm not being critical of anyone's business or it's just a general, I feel that most senior kind of decision makers in businesses don't actually know what they want the AI to do. And they don't,
That's right.
They don't even know how their workflows could be improved, where they could actually just work better and smarter but they don't
That's
know.
right.
So how would, if there was somebody with a small business,
Yeah.
Yes.
how do they go about
Where do they
finding
start?
out what,
Yes.
what is available for them?
Yeah, so this is one of the reasons I created a company called the AI Leadership Institute, right? Because in the future, whether you hire a bunch of humans or not, you're definitely going to be leading machines.
Yes.
And you're going to need to know what your core values are and how do the way that you communicate as a leader, how does that translate to AI machine behavior? And so the first thing I encourage organizations to do is what we call an AI impact assessment. But it's not about AI at all. It's about monitoring human work.
Yes.
Looking at humans. And it's something that we've been doing in the systems thinking process world, Lean, Six Sigma. This is not a new idea, but it actually is critical to AI success, because you're going to want to start by looking at humans and realizing, wow, there's some friction here.
Yeah.
Anywhere there's friction, you can put an AI system to remove that friction. It's very tactical, but what it does is it builds trust with the humans, because when you
course.
take friction away from a human's job, they're going to be like, well, this is not terrible.
Yeah.
I actually enjoy a
And
world
I
where
still
I
have a job.
yeah, and
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't have to talk to that system
Yeah.
that's from 1982 anymore. I love it. I never have to do another PowerPoint deck because I can use AI to that. I don't have to build a pivot table for an Excel spreadsheet. There's human pain happening
Yes.
every day in the mundane tasks.
Yeah.
So that's how you start as a business, is just look at what you're doing today, watch it, and build AI systems at any point of friction, and start with just one. So one thing that my company ended up doing almost by accident is we went into a very huge friction point for most organizations, sales. All right, so a lot of people are good at selling because they care about what their product, but most of them are really bad at getting strangers to become customers. And AI is very good at this. AI can learn who you are, learn your brand voice, and can help you amplify your message to the world, social media. It can help edit content like this
Yes.
to get it out faster. All of these things that have friction points. I want to do a podcast. Wait a second, I will need a producer, and it's going to take me 3 days to edit, and then how do I distribute it, and then I have to cut it up. There's tech for this now,
Yes.
right? And so
Yeah.
that tech can't run itself. That all the AI systems that will help you build a successful podcast, like, it's not autonomous. It requires someone like you who has a vision of the podcast you want to use your words and your vision to articulate what that looks like. So for me, we use, like, it's called DBA, but we do database activation. So we go into like cold leads, and we just take people's leads that they already have and we reactivate them with an AI sequence.
Nice.
And to your point on intelligence, I'm not just randomly, autonomously sending them canned messages, right? I'm asking them questions in the chat bot, like, hey, I noticed you liked my post. What did you like about it? Then I'm using what they said to actually continue the conversation. But I'm not, my AI system is.
Yes.
So it's listening and reacting in real time. Meanwhile, the system they're talking about does not say, I'm Sally and I'm pretending to be human. It discloses, I'm nearly Noelle. I'm a virtual machine. But it doesn't matter because it still generates the same impact. People are still delighted at the fact that I'm listening. Whether it's virtual me or real me, the act of me listening, hearing them, and responding with intention changes everything.
And that intention, what I'm hearing from you, that is really, it's personalizing that message, isn't it? It's really pulling that out, and it makes that person feel that they've
been heard.
That's the thing that makes us put our hand in our pocket and get the wallet out.
Yeah,
right?
100%.
That's the
Humorising
bit.
it, yeah.
We want to feel that that's personal to me.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, you mentioned different systems there. I'm not asking you to solve my biggest bugbear here, but my biggest...
But maybe.
I'm sure you will. But there's just, they don't talk to each other, and of course, everyone wants to ring fence their own tiger. So, I'm an Alexa user, okay?
Yay.
I tried the Google one. I'm sorry, I just went back to Alexa. But, it only talks to Amazon's storefront. It only talks to, but it doesn't talk to my YouTube Music subscriber because Google and Amazon hate each other.
Right.
So how do we get these systems as a user and a consumer? How do I get it to say, look at my calendar, which might be in Microsoft Outlook, or look at my music, which might be in Spotify, look at my shopping, which might be in wherever it might be? Because everyone's going, we want the data, we want it for ourselves, we don't want to share. How do we get to open AI? How do we get to an open cross-platform solution?
Oh my gosh,
where all
such
these
a great question, because that's the world we're in right now. As a matter of fact, I was just listed as the #1 thought leader in agentic AI, and that's what it is. It's agency.
Right.
We want to be able to, sure, if you want to create a silo for all of your capability, Amazon, Microsoft, Google, go ahead. But I now need what we call a control plane, or I need an area where I can pull all these things together and orchestrate them together. And so this is known as building agents, right? Every one of these systems, Alexa is an agent, Google, any of these, but also your CRM becomes an agent, your content producing, your, if you're using Opus video clips, or HeyGen, which is my synthetic avatar generator, these all become agents that do work, but you still need an orchestration layer. And so agentic AI is this concept of building orchestration that's outside of the vendor itself. If today, because we're at the beginning of this, it's a technical solution. So you would come to someone like me and I would assemble the orchestration layer. It's all through natural language. I would just say, hey, I want you to talk to you and you to talk to you.
You're friends.
Right, yeah, you guys are friends and you can share data in this way. It's a technical implementation. However, all of this started technical. In 6 months, 1 year, you're now going to see AI platforms that are going to say, and actually there's one called N8N, like Noelle, N8N. And you can go in there and do what you said. One of the biggest challenges I have is email, calendar, what's on event calendars, social media. And so it allows me to have a natural language interface to all of those things. Like, hey, I'm looking at my calendar. It looks like I'm open this time, but I think I have a podcast. Can you check my podcast schedule? Those are completely separate things. I don't even own my podcast schedule, right? It's on somebody else's podcast. But I can just use my words. And because the platform is connected to those systems, it can facilitate figuring out the answer and providing it to me. So I think we are there technically. Now it's going to be a matter of patience on the side of the user to say, am I willing to do the work to connect these systems together?
Right. Okay.
That's a message for you.
Yeah.
You need to be more patient.
Patience is a virtue.
I have ADHD, so I'm not patient at all. I'm like, I want it now.
Yes.
That's a really good point. So my little podcast, which is called What If, as a play on my name, really looks at diversity issues, but not just race and gender are the two that get the most exposure, but I look at things like disability and to go back to where you started, really, I'll let you explain your story, but also, I mean, there's a lot of neurodiversity in the audiovisual industry. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
And just that, seeing something that can help people and make, create that level playing field for people, but finding the right things for them. So I've got two questions for you. One, how you started. Obviously, you shared that at the breakfast, but for people who weren't there.
Yeah.
And secondly, how should organisations consider AI when they have a diverse workforce, and a workforce that will have ADHD or somebody with any other issue?
Oh my gosh, yes. So I got started in the world of AI. I guess the seed was planted a long time ago by my dad. He's a science fiction guy, so he introduced me to talking robots in books very, very early on, which is ironic. Like, who would have thought I would then get a chance to be on Alexa, where we're building a talking robot? Like,
so cool.
Who would have thought? Like, 25, maybe 30-year difference between those two things. But I ended up, of course, in between learning about robots as a kid and Alexa, I ended up having my first child, my first of 6. His name's Max, and he has Down syndrome. And so it really did shift my attention to, I only want to work with companies and products that are pushing the edge and making the world more accessible. And so I climbed the ladder. I was at IBM and at VMware, but I ended up at Amazon with this opportunity to work on Alexa. And I realized that when I got there, I was the only woman on the team, and I was the only woman, like the only Latina. That's not surprising. I'm still the only woman and Latina on most teams I'm on anyway. But what was more surprising is I was the only mom on the team. Right. I was the only caregiver on the team, taking care of my dad. He lives with me now. I was the only cat owner on the team, right? So like divergent thinking, right? I'm pushing the edge of like what they were even capable of thinking. I'm ADHD. Like, they could barely handle like all the things that I would say and how I would react and things I wanted to do. My team was just like, we don't even know what you're doing, but no. Like, just no. Yeah. No to all of it. But the world now with AI is changing so much. I will give you an example of a company you might know, Goodwill. Like these Goodwill, you drop off your stuff. Yeah. So Goodwill, I love them because they actually do serve, they employ people with Down syndrome.
Yes.
That's part of their ethos. And last year, they adopted Microsoft AI technology, and they created some computer vision tooling, because what would happen is that they'd had people with cognitive disabilities. People would drop off stuff. That person would have to take out the item. They'd have to look at it with their own eyes, assess it, categorize it, price it, put it on a shelf. Like, there was a lot in there that would rely on just like contextual awareness of things that even humans without a cognitive disability, but for them specifically, it made it very hard for them to do their job. Didn't matter though, because Goodwill was like committed to that. So they're like, doesn't matter how long it takes, you do your thing. AI comes along, and to your point on amplifying neurodiversity, they looked at the capabilities of those who were working for them. They created an AI system that would intentionally amplify those people. Right? So now this person has a phone and they could take a picture of the item. That still needs to happen, but they take a picture of the item, and now computer vision is going to say, oh, this is a sweater. Oh, this label means something. This is Ralph Lauren. This is, a Target brand. Like, now the pricing is going to change. All of this changes. But it's only with intentionality that the leadership of that company was like, we're not going to just lay you off and change our core values because you're not going to be as fast as someone else. Like, we're going to build AI that makes you individually better and faster. And I think, though that is an extreme situation where they are serving a disability community, it speaks to every single organization now, right? Like, every employee deserves a leader who's willing to look at their unique skills, to your point on, like, what is your unique skills in this organization, and how do I give you AI systems to make you, individual Noelle, better at your job?
That's at the heart of why I started those conversations, because for me, there are people dealing with so many things before they get to their desk at 9 a.m.
Yes.
What makes their life easier while they're with you, so that they can be their best when they're working with you?
Well, they've all got different challenges, haven't they? Again, you talked about your perspective of where you were coming into the organisation as the only woman, as the only cat owner, and all the rest of it. But you're bringing a whole different perspective that a bunch of pale, stale males are just going to be sitting there, rinse and repeating the same thing over and over again. it's interesting on the diversity. It just came to me. We're going to get diverse AIs. I mean, because again, if we're just creating the same tigers, I mean, are we going to get diversity in AI? Are we going to train it in that way? So
yeah, only intentionally. So there's a concept, once you start building these systems, there's a concept known as, in cybersecurity, we call it red teaming, which is this super fun role of like adversarially just hacking against a machine to make sure it's protected. But in AI, some of these challenges are not just adversarial, they're actually benign. Like, what happens if I build a system and everyone looks the same and I give it to a community that doesn't look like the people who built it? All of a sudden, they're going to ask questions that I never asked that AI in testing. I never even thought to ask. And if you don't have that, I call it a symphony of talent. If you don't have this symphony of talent building these AI systems, you're going to find as soon as you launch it, it's going to fail people. And the very people you're trying to help, actually. It's quite ironic, because you're going to be like, wait, oh, that's how you say that? Oh, this word means something to your community? I just, like, deteriorated my credibility and trust with you because I called your elders, a word that I didn't, like all of these things. AI can absolutely help, but only if there's humans that are like, this isn't moving in the right direction. How do we tame the tiger?
And we have that. I mean, obviously you can tell from our accents we're from the UK.
We're not from around these parts.
So
King's English
certain
now.
Things that we will say, and even out last night there was something, and it means something very different to someone else. So how do we get around that? Because if you've got one AI product, how do we localize that? So across the globe, when it's
languages,
a global
dialects.
So you will have to build these teams. So Microsoft, Amazon, Google, they've documented and published their AI red teaming practices, and they're less about tech and more about humanity. Like, how do you infuse humanity? And I always say it's like DEI becomes RAI. Like, it's responsible AI to build for everyone. And the only thing that's required to build for more people is to involve more people in the process. In accessibility, we say never build for someone without them, right? Like, like my son has Down syndrome. He's like, Mom, you can't build tech for me unless I tell you what I need. But as technologists, we're quick to be like, I got you. I can build something for you. I have an app for that.
I can fix this.
Yeah, I can fix this. And then we build it, and they're like, that's the one thing I want to keep. That's the one thing I want to do. If you just asked me, I would have told you. And that is, I think, one of the biggest challenges in AI is that it requires humans to become more human, to listen to people, to say, what can I build for you that is actually helpful to you?
And not to second guess.
But it will require that diversity, that symphony of talent.
What's been the biggest help for you that AI has made in your life?
Oh my goodness. I mean, I'd have to probably...
Maybe with your son, but I guess...
exactly. I would probably say, our house is an AI house, right? So we started off with a lot of Alexas, but that is now expanded to every TV has AI in it. Every TV we have over 100 voice-enabled devices in our house. Everything from microwaves that, won't burn food to washing machines that allow you to auto-dispense based on how dirty it feels. I mean, crazy things, but it increases independence. Not just for my son, but I also am a caregiver to my dad. And we have an aging population that's looking to stay independent. And so I think AI unlocks a couple of things, right? It unlocks the ability for us to increase the independence of people, either with cognitive delays or disabilities, or an aging community that's desperate to just keep living as if they were 40 in their 80s. And now I think with this technology, we can do that. My dad will not be able to ever live independently because he has a traumatic brain injury, but he doesn't have to come to me every 5 minutes and ask me a question, or he can just ask Alexa, or he can cook and he can clean and he enjoys his life much more.
They did say the biggest disease now is loneliness, I think. And the fact that you can just sit there and chat to Alexa or Gemini or whatever other platform, that is a great thing for the aging population.
I do it in my car. I was sharing with Noelle earlier. I wanted to know about a particular company, and I asked my car to talk to me about a certain company, and
I love it.
What's their turnover? Where are their offices? What's their best product?
Yeah, I recently did a TED Talk, and TED Talk, you have to. I try to be concise in my words, but you have to be like super concise, less than 10 minutes. And I was like, look, I talk about stuff all the time, and so I just started having a conversation with my chat GPT, which is custom, right? It's not the open one. It's a private one.
Right.
And it knows me. It knows how I speak. It knows my important things. It knows memories about what I've given it in the past. And I just asked it, like, help me take what I normally say, the stories I typically say, and condense them so I can use them in a TED Talk. And so I would say a story, it would repeat it back to me. But it sounded like me because I trained it to sound like me, and I continuously do that. But it was awesome because I did all of that while in a train on my way to a location. So it allows me, Tony Robbins used the term, no extra time. Like, I'm a mom of 6, I'm an executive, like, I have no extra time. But I do have time in a car. I do have time where I can put in my earbuds. I do have time when I wash dishes or do laundry. Now I can use that time to talk to an AI. Instead of just listening to an audiobook, I can actually have a conversation with the author in an avatar format, right? I can ask the author questions and get answers. It's just such an interesting time.
So I'd seen friends actually from the industry commenting on each other's posts and, asking a question. When you're using AI, do you thank the AI? And I do.
It's like the machines are going to take over. They'll know the ones that thank them in the end.
Whether it's Siri, whether it's I'm in the car and it's Mercedes, I will say thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
why shouldn't you be polite to them?
And
there is research behind this.
Okay.
So first, at Amazon Alexa, we got in trouble with the press because when you would talk to Alexa, if you said thank you or please, it would fail because we had not programmatically told the model to accept those words as part of a request. So they did a press cycle. One of the journalists was like, Alexa is turning my kids into not nice people, but used a bad word.
Yes.
And I was like, as a mom, I'm like, what? I'm turning kids into, like, because you're now commanding a woman's voice.
A subservient woman that you're saying, do this, do this.
I'll just tell you, no data scientist envisions this when they build a system, right? Like, they're thinking of the kids we're going to help and the adults we're going to give freedom to. We never think, like...
Did you think about gender when you created Alexa? Did you just think it was a machine? Or
it was an intentional choice to make it female, but that wasn't new. If you remember MapQuest back in the day, they did a huge research study on how often men and women yell at these technologies while driving. And they yelled at a woman less than they yelled at a man, which was very interesting feedback. So they chose intentionally to go with that. But yeah, I think it's just, I mean, there's so much data around this now. But humans would prefer to hear bad news from a robot and good news from a human. And the reason why, I mean, just think about the airlines. Like airlines now will send you a text message when bad things happen, as opposed to over the intercom gate person saying it. And they do that because it's like de-emotionalizing.
It takes the sensitivity out of it.
I think every individual, every company is going to really need to think, how do I integrate this technology to be the best customer-facing organization we can be that cares about our relationships and not trigger bad behavior at the same time.
It's amazing. I mean, we could talk all day, but I know that you've got to go.
Can I ask one last question though?
Yes.
Everyone listening, everyone viewing, me, myself, I am your audience, okay? So because there's like Copilot, ChatGPT, Gemini. Do I have to go on all of them? Can I choose one of them? Which tiger do I want?
Yes,
which one do I adopt?
Oh my goodness, that's kind of a big question.
But give us, again, start slowly.
That's right.
Again, I'm a phytoplankton. I know nothing about AI.
Exactly.
I'm scared of AI. Everyone watching and listening, where do we start? Where do we go?
Well, I'll let everyone know that I actually started on Amazon Alexa and I knew nothing about AI, right? I wasn't classically trained in AI. As a matter of fact, I had never graduated from high school. I did go, just didn't fit with me. I went to college, but Y2K happened, so I ended up leaving early. So I'm not like classically
The Millennium
trained.
Bug, I remember that.
Right?
Yes. You made a lot of money.
That's right, yes. And so I didn't have that traditional technology skill. However, I had a passion. I had my son who had Down syndrome. I'm like, talking to tech is the future. I want to be part of it. So that was the number one thing that was required, was me wanting to be part of it.
Right.
And that is a choice that you make, just like happiness, just like peace. Like it is not a result of your environment. It is a mental decision that you're going to make to get involved.
Just start.
So as soon as you choose to start, the next thing I would encourage you to do is do what I did at Amazon. I just started building with the technology. Today, you don't need to learn how to code. You just need to use your words. So go to a ChatGPT and say, hey, can you build me a PowerPoint deck? Can you create me a piece of content? Can you edit this? How would you change it? Give me 5 tips. Just use it as a thought partner.
Yeah.
The most successful thing I did when I first got into this environment was teach people how to build a machine. So we have a class, I created a community called I Love AI, because similarly to what you said, I used to wear a shirt that says I love AI, and I did that because I'm like, when the machines come, I want them to know, right, who's on their side. And so everyone who joins this community, like, you're gonna be safe. But when you join the community, the first thing you do is you build a bot, you build a machine. Okay. And we have 12-year-olds, 85-year-olds, farmers, technicians. Like, it's not about technology. It's about clarity of thought, clear understanding what you want, and being able to clearly state it to a machine. And the sooner you start talking, it's like public speaking. Everyone starts awful, and then you get better.
Yeah, muscle you learn.
Just like we started. Like, that is, I think, the critical thing is build a machine right now. Everyone can do it. It's called a custom GPT. No skills required.
Okay.
Just build one. And and then finally, my favorite tool, I would say, oh my gosh, it's so hard.
We're going to say other tools are available,
right?
whatever you choose.
Exactly. There are thousands of tools.
No, it is a minefield. That is the thing. It's like,
I would have to say and I'll say why I loved it. Cool. ChatGPT is my favorite.
Okay.
And the reason I like it is, number one, it's been productized by Microsoft, and they've added some responsible guardrails to it, which makes me feel comfortable. Yeah. But the most important thing about it is that when you pay the $20 to become whatever it's called, Plus member, you get your own memory bank. And now you get to customize that GPT to sound like you, to understand what you want, to learn from you. I've been using it. I was a beta tester on this model during COVID before it launched. And so I've been talking to it for a long time. It has lots of memories about me. And so now I can actually go in and say, here's an idea I have. Does this resonate with who I have been to you over the last 2.5 years? And it'll say, yeah, but usually you talk a little bit more about innovation and diversity and inclusion, and it doesn't really lean that way. Is there a way you want to rethink about it? So it's actually being reinforcing of who I want to be. And I don't think people realize.
It's challenging you as well, I guess.
Yeah, I don't think people realize that AI is not just going to regurgitate, canned stereotypical information, that actually can be an amplifier of exactly who you want to be in the world.
Yeah. Amazing. Thank you so much for your time. Where can people find you?
Oh, I encourage you to contact me on LinkedIn, but it's pretty easy. You can just find me on Google, Noelle.ai. You can find me all places.
I guess you could go to ChatGPT and
that's
search
right,
you.
That's for Noelle Russell. That's right. Absolutely.
Thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Amazing.
And hopefully we'll see you in the UK as well.
Yes!
Certainly the Women's Council are really keen to continue the conversation.
Absolutely.
So, that'll be coming soon.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, everybody, and we'll see you next time.
That's a wrap on this episode of AV in the Wild. Big thanks to our guests and to you, our listeners, for joining us on this journey through the AV landscape. If you liked what you heard, don't forget to subscribe, share, leave a review. It helps us keep the conversation going. Catch us next time as we hit the road again with more voices, more stories, and more of what makes AV wild. Until then, stay curious, stay connected, and stay wild.